when we look at the actual tryout itself, we're going to, of course, do a variety of different types of skills, both offense, defense, transition. Some of them are just straight conditioning types of evaluations. I particularly don't like to do standard, conditioning types of drills that don't have a basketball in their hand. So we kind of have some masked conditioning in there because that's how basketball works. I mean, we don't run up and down the floor 5 or 6 times on a timed sprint without a basketball in our hand. It's not really emulating the game, so it's not helping my evaluation very much. It's a stressful time. It's a stressful time for coaches. It's a stressful time for players. And when we talk about the players, besides the obvious factor of whether or not I'm going to even make the team, that's pretty stressful on players. There's all kinds of implications. Maybe my parents really wanted me to make the basketball team. Maybe I really wanted to make it. Maybe all my friends are on the team and it's a social issue. I don't know who I'm going to hang out with if I don't make the team. And it's really stressful for some people. And sometimes the stress comes from guys who feel pretty comfortable they're going to make the team but are having a hard time making the transition from their fall sport to their winter sport, which basketball is one of the longest seasons of any high school sport. And making that transition from, say, football or soccer is a different kind of practice for them, and expectation, and all those kinds of things. And so those skills are differently. And just getting your body adjusted. You think about football and soccer, they're going from just playing outdoors, fresh air, the weather, the elements, going to an indoor game is a whole different type of conditioning. So that's very stressful for players too, but it's a part of the process. As far as stress for the coaches goes, that's about the same, but it's a little bit different. A number of my coaches here at Excelsior Springs High School are also fall coaches, so it's stressful for them. They're having to transition from being an assistant in one program, in one sport, with many of the same kids, to transitioning to different head coach, different expectations, different responsibilities, and in some cases coaching different kids too. So obviously when it comes to the tryout part of it, it gets stressful for coaches because you can't please all the people all the time. You know that there's going to be some very, very difficult decisions to be made. You don't want anybody to get cut, but at the same time you have to consider the overall picture of what it is you're trying to accomplish at the high school. What is your overall mission and your philosophy, and who can fit well into that, who's ready for that. And that's really what we're looking at for, is who's ready to take part in that overall picture. And I think the overall stress for me as a head coach is from the end of our season, whether it be late February or early March, my plan for the fixes that we need to make, or the things that we did well in the previous season, get put on a really long pause. Nothing can be done about it to any great detail again until the next November. So I make it analogous to a sculptor who is staring at a half-done sculpture with their hands tied behind their back and are required for 6 months to just stare at it and not really be allowed to touch the sculpture or make any adjustments to it. And then when the hands are untied 6 months later, they immediately obviously want to take all their ideas and creations and immediately get started on it, and they can't because their tools haven't been properly cleaned and maintained over the last 6 months. So there's a little bit of transition process that happens, and that's a big stress for me, is I have a ton of great ideas where I think are great ideas that I want to implement and get going on, and we have to make sure that our tools are clean, so to speak, and we have everything set up to work on that plan. We can't be jumping into it on day 1 or 2 and try to put in these wholesale changes to our schemes, both offensively and defensively, because we got players who are making this big transition as well. So I think that really encompasses the stress on players and coaches.